Our film begins with someone trying to commit suicide from the balcony, and people are trying to break into his apartment to kill him. He begins to talk about how he got to the situation he is in now. He is a divorced man, an alcoholic, and a failed writer who has no idea about writing. He stays seated for weeks, maybe months, and doesn't know how to write a word in his new book. He has no one in his life but Lindy, his girlfriend, who was his lover, and tried to help him as much as possible. He meets Verno, his ex-wife, who is in a crisis at his place and is reassured about his condition in life. He learns that his life is ruined and tells him that he works as a consultant in a pharmaceutical company and that this is a pill for him, which is an exclusive product from his company and approved by the Food and Drug Administration. The average person uses only 20% of his mind, but the function of the pill is to activate 100% of the human mind. The price of a pill is $100. Eddie agrees to take it from him out of curiosity. At the door of his house, Ed decides to take the pill and meets the house landlady. She asks him for the rent, and the pill's effect begins to work, which significantly expands his thinking, and he begins to notice all the details around him. He starts talking to the landlady and learns that she is in law school from the book's name in her bag. He sees him from 12 years ago at university and wonders how he could remember such a simple thing. He starts talking to the landlady about law school and the greatest authors of law books. In a moment of astonishment and admiration from the landlady, "Why is this?" he suggests that he help her. Within 45 minutes, he has written an entire article for her. She is very impressed, so she leaves her and enters his house. She wonders how he could be in a place like this. He starts cleaning, arranging, and washing. He is exhausted. He can concentrate on more than one thing at the same time. He tries to complete writing his book, which he has not written a word for. After a while, he goes to sleep. He wakes up the next day, back to normal, and unable to do anything as usual. He takes what he wrote and presents it to the editor-in-chief at the publishing house, who had lost hope that he would write anything. He offers her to read only 2 or 3 pages, and if she doesn't like it, he will return the payment I took. Once he gets home, he finds the editor-in-chief leaving him a message saying that she has read more than 40 pages, that she is still reading, and that the book is very impressive. He decides to run after another pill to take it from him, but he finds that it has not been beaten. He learns from it that the pill was made in a lab in the first place and that it is legally approved. It's all a lie. But he asks for it willingly and says, "I need it to finish the book." He agrees to give him the pill in exchange for him going down to get his suit and breakfast because his condition does not allow him to go down. He goes down to get the stuff and returns to find his door open. He enters and finds the apartment turned upside down and Eddie killed. He reports the crime and decides to look for the pills until the police arrive because Eddie knows Forno well and knows that he does not know how to cook. He thinks of looking for the pills in the oven, and he succeeds and finds the pills and money and a book of numbers of customers who buy Forno pills and take them. The police come and investigate with him and take his number. He is released, starts with a new personality, and takes care of himself. He puts on new clothes and starts distributing the pills. Every day, he took only 1 pill, and with the help of the pills, he finished a whole book, a full quarter. But he decided that he wanted to earn more money than the money from writing books that did not interest him. So, he went to the bank, and within 4 days, he increased his money 5 times. But he needed more money to earn more. Because the bank would not give him money and required guarantees, he went to Jendi, who lent money and got it back at a high value. He borrowed $100,000 from him and used them in the stock market, which he learned from his friend. Kevin, who also works in the stock market, worked in a temporary trading company, and within a week his stock market account had more than $2 million. The reason was that he quickly became famous in the stock market and began to receive job offers and TV interviews, and all the news started to talk about him. He could return to his beloved Lindy until something happened that he was waiting for, which was to meet the most significant elements of the stock market. He is a genius, but he notices that someone is watching him most of the time. He meets Eddie, Mr. Carl, and begins to explain his way of thinking and working in his unique algorithm, which was the reason for his success in the stock market. Mr. Carl offers to take him home, and on the way, Carl gives him a file containing 2 of the largest energy companies and asks him to review them and give his opinion. As soon as he arrives home, Eddie has finished analyzing the file. They said that it is impossible to control the energy crisis if he does not control these 2 companies, or at least the larger company. This is what will make him lose the other company. Carl likes the way of analysis, and they agree to meet again to complete the rest of the conversation. Eddie goes down to walk for a while, but suddenly he finds himself skipping a long mental period and has passed more than 20 buildings without realizing it. He continues walking, and his mind begins to ignore more and more periods, until the transition finally stops. and he found that he does not remember the last 18 hours of his life. And all he remembers is spending time with a girl he met at Wes's hotel. And he tries for the first time to live without the effect of the pill because of the side effects that happened to him recently. He tries to review the energy company's files, but he fails and goes to meet Carl without the pill. He is out of focus and forgets about the energy companies. He hears the news of the murder of a model in a hotel, sees her picture, and discovers that she is the one who spent the night with him in the hotel, but he does not remember what happened after that. He is unable to complete the meeting with Carl and runs to his house and finds a message from his ex-wife, warning him that he must have taken something from Vernon before killing him. He asks her to meet urgently, and he agrees. After hanging up on him, he tries to contact any of Vernon's clients registered in his notebook, but he finds that all the names there are dead, either in intensive care except for the last name he calls, and he sees a phone next to him that rings, and the person who answers are the one who is watching him and trying to kill him. Still, he escapes from him. He reaches a restaurant to meet Melissa and finds that her condition has deteriorated dramatically because of the pills. He knew that if he tried to stop taking them, his condition would be destroyed, and his concentration would disappear, and that he must gradually reduce the doses, or he might die like the one before him. She takes him, but before he reaches his house, beats him because he delayed his money according to what was agreed upon with him, and the pill falls from the hand of the woman. And he takes it and tries it and takes his money and leaves her. Eddie's condition begins to collapse, and he resorts to Lindy and goes to her work and asks her to bring him his pills and that he hid them in her house. She is forced to leave him in her office and goes to get him the pills and returns to him. But she realizes that someone is watching her and he attacks her. She escapes from him and calls Eddie and tells him what happened. So he tells her to take a pill from the one she has with her so she can escape from him. And you listen to him and take the pill, and you are able to escape from him, and you reach the hands of the pills, and he returns to his usual self again. He finds Chin back again and asks for more pills because their effect is amazing, and he gives them to him to get rid of him for the time being. He returns to you to agree to deal with him again, and after 2 months of using the pills, he becomes ill. He is the leader of the largest management institution in the history of institutions, and he tries to balance his life by reducing his pill stew, piping, drinking alcohol, and taking care of his health. To secure himself from running out of pills, he agrees with the lab to try to make similar pills with the same ingredients and the same effect. A police inspector comes to investigate the murder of the model and that someone recognized him as the last person who was with him in the hotel. But within a short time, he got out of the name because there were no fingerprints of him in her room. He returns to his room and finds it turned upside down, so he is forced to rent an apartment with a safe, cameras, an armored door, and a high-security system. The time comes for a board meeting of one of the energy companies that Carl wants to acquire, and he is waiting for the company's owner, Mr. Audit, to sign the merger between the two companies, or more accurately, to give up the company. But he is surprised by his wife, who comes to inform them that her husband is in the hospital. He suffers from severe fatigue and intends to sign the contract when he recovers. They go down to take her to her car. Eddie is surprised that Mr. Audit is the one chasing him. He tries to kill him. Lindy is his girlfriend, and Eddie can deduce that Mr. Atwood is in the hospital because he did not get the pills and that he was also taking them from Fair. He is summoned to appear before the witness who saw him oppose the fashion, and Morris, the most prominent lawyer in the state, is brought with him. After that, he is released. The witness recognizes him and then learns that Atwood has fallen into a coma, which is what stops the deal with Carr. Atwood says hello, but Eddie discovers the pills have disappeared from his jacket and returns to his apartment. He learns from the phone that Morris is Atwood's private lawyer, so he guesses that he is the one who stole the pills from the jacket's pocket. He finds the door knocking and finds Ginetti coming to him because he missed his appointment with him, who was supposed to give him the pills again. He intends to kill him, so he decides to commit suicide. But at the last moment, he decides to look anywhere for a pill that he can jump from and fails, and is forced to attack and kill him and drink his blood because the pills have affected him. He succeeds, regains his energy again, and can get rid of 2 men. He finds out that Ed is dead, so he goes to his driver and tells him that Morris stole the pills. How did Atwood's lawyer die? Unless the lawyer coveted the pills and took them for himself. In a short time, the lawyer was killed, and the pills came back again. No, this is it. 6 months later, he ran for the New York elections, and his book was published and became a bestseller. A guest who owns Even Pharmaceuticals comes to him, who is considered the largest funder of his election campaign. Eddie meets him and surprises him with the fact that he is Carr. Still, Carr starts threatening him that he knows the effect of the pill, that Eddie has reached what he is in now and has abandoned its impact. that he bought an entire pharmaceutical company as soon as he knew about these pills and that he could stop manufacturing them at any time if Eddie does not achieve what he wants. Still, Eddie calmly tells him that he is not naive enough to reach this position, and he remains at the mercy of the pills because he got rid of them completely. He is the one who is supposed to be afraid of him because he is much more intelligent than him, and he knows information about him that could imprison him, and that the only thing he could control was the pills that had disappeared from his life. And that's the end of our story. If you've reached so far in our video, you're officially awesome. Thanks for sticking around with Chat Craze. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to leave a nice comment. Until next time.